German turn. So our maneuver group's forward movement has been thwarted. So let's see what we got in our hand. Ooh, another interesting piece of terrain, a gully. Gullies can be discarded on the opponent or on you. A gully pretty much drops you in a hole. So no one can shoot at you, and no one can, you can't shoot at anyone. So it can be a great way to drop, to get an enemy's fire group out of the action. But again, this is terrain that can be rejected, so they're going to have to choose. You can shoot into a gully if you're on a hill, or if you're at relative range 5, which means you're face to face. We haven't gotten that close yet with people, but that's sort of a magic number that I haven't mentioned. If the range of your numbers here add up to 5, so 1 and 4, 2 and 3, 0 and 5, any of those, when they add up to 5, you are face to face with that other team, and they are blocking you. So relative range 5 is kind of a magic number. So we'll see if we get there. We probably will. Firepower gets crazy intense when you're that close, as you might imagine. So having high morale troops at that distance, having good cover becomes very, very important. So, okay. So what do we want to do with our Germans here? It'd be great if we could take some shots, but we don't have any fire cards. We don't need to rally anyone. We don't want to drop our own group in the gully. The only time that I would probably do that is if they were under some really intense fire and I wanted to get them out of it. So that's not the case. We can move a group forward. We could put our group that's moving into some brush. And if somebody shoots at us, so this would be used on the other person's turn. A concept that's important in this game, and this is going to come up a lot, where you're going to have a hand, and what makes a great game, and someone else, I had read their reviews, really looked at this, and I think other people agree too. It's interesting decisions, right? Like, is the game asking me to make interesting decisions or tough decisions, right? And I think my opinion is that in upfront it does, and so you're often going to be presented with a non-ideal hand, and you kind of have to decide, okay, how do I want to manage this? So right now we're not under too much pressure because we're not too close up, but still, we have to decide what we want to do here. So an important concept here is card flow. In this game, you want cards flowing through your hand. It gives you options, right? And when you don't have cards flowing through your hand, you don't have as many options. So thinking about it, sometimes it's worth playing cards just to get them out of your hand. So that could mean playing the gully here. What I'm going to do instead, actually, is I'm going to play the brush card on these guys. Right now, we said that if they were to be attacked, they're moving, but they're moving from hill terrain, so they'd be at 0. The brush will put them at a -1, so it gives them a little bit, and it'll stop them from moving. It'll get the card out of our hand. I don't really want to drop them in a gully at this point, so we're going to do that. We're going to play our brush card. I'm going to drop it here just so it's easier to get rid of this one. And for Vassal, before you discard a movement card that's sideways like this, you want to straighten it back up, or else it'll turn your whole discard pile to the side, which it doesn't hurt anything, but it's kind of annoying. So discard that. And actually this, because we are now in brush. Alright, and it was a lateral move, so our range didn't change. And let's also... Now I'm trying to decide, do I hold on to the gully, or do I discard it to try to free up my hand? And you might think, okay, well, do I think they're going to be moving anytime soon? And my guess is, if I were them, funny, right, because I am them, but with the Americans, I wouldn't want to really get my maneuver group moving too fast until my fire base was was back in better condition, but sometimes you take chances. So, and then another card that we might be able to get rid of is our rally card. Nobody's pinned right now, so we could kind of hope we get another one of those if we need it. And their fire group is a little bit busted up, so let's. Those are the two cards I'm looking at. I want to hold on to movements. Those are, pretty vital, and the concealed kind of are great to have with the movements. So let's go ahead and make a decision. We're going to discard the rally card and draw up. All right, it's going to be the Americans' turn.